To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocketradio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
It's Coffee Ann on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us this morning. My name is Joe Callahan. Around the Coffee Ann table, we'll say good morning to Melissa Murray. Hi, Melissa.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning to you.
Good morning, Dave.
Dave Richards is here. Hi there, Dave.
Hi.
And Dave's going to do a little tap, tap, tap on his keyboard right there and tell us everything he needs to know, or you need to know, about the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce, because they are our first segment sponsor of Coffee Ann.
You betcha. And, Joe, we are always talking about the list of events and things, and occasionally we mention the advocacy that the Northern Rhode Island Chamber affords its members, because, as you know, the legislature's in session, and all kinds of things are going on down there, and sometimes the legislature finds great solace and comfort in beating up people who have businesses. And
Is that true, Melissa?
robbing from the perceived rich and giving it to people who can vote.
The perceived
Yeah. And so this has been going on for time immemorial in our society, and that's the way it goes. And so they have prepared this week at the State House a list and showing you the sort of things that are going on, like in the House Finance Committee, where they expect to do all kinds of interesting things about taxes. And you'll see that it calls for lots of increases in taxes, sin taxes, things that they won't get in trouble for taxing, like e-cigs and cigarettes and stuff like that. Right? Another $1 a pack. Do you know how much tax there is on a pack of cigarettes?
Oh, that's like $8, isn't it?
No. It could be $8 for the cigarettes.
I thought it was $10 a pack now.
There
more
is
like 15.
$4.25 tax only.
Well, that's state.
Right? That's the state tax.
Okay, there's a federal tax.
On every on every pack of cigarettes, $4.25, and they want to make it to a nice round $4.50. And as far as e-cigs are concerned, this is what they want to do. Whatever the wholesale price of that e-cig product is, 80% of that price is just the tax, and you better add it on, because we're going to take it. And that's what's being proposed in the House. Now, over in the Labor Committee, here's a great one. They've got a great little thing that they think is going to get them votes from unemployed people, because this is what's going to happen. They're going to try to, force companies to do things that are to their financial disadvantage, which means that they're going to have less money left over to employ people, you see, and like that. But, payment of wages, they say, it's like this. You just can't live when you're getting paid every other week. You're getting paid every hour that you're working, but you only get the check every other week. You're going to be better off if we give you that check every week. And even though it's going to double the payroll costs for the company, we don't care. That's what they want to do, and that's my opinion on how they're going at this one. It's just the liberal agenda trying to pander to people who are voters, and to shaft the people who aren't voters, which is businesses. Unfortunately, they're run by people who vote, but there's fewer of them, you see. That's the way it goes. She's fuming right next to me, isn't she? I'm not looking. No, I can feel it. I can feel the heat from the next chair.
No, I'm actually just sitting here.
Yeah, okay. But anyway, here's the whole thing, and of course, what they do is they put in all these little exceptions to cut down on the objections. There is an exception. If you are a state or municipal government, you don't have to play by that rule.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, that ought to take the wind out of their sails, out of the objections, right? Also, if you're a nonprofit and have fewer than, was it 25, I think it is? Yeah, less than 25 employees, you don't have to play by that rule.
What about for-profit? Usually it's like around 8 to 10 employees or less.
Doesn't matter.
Oh,
you can have one employee. It doesn't make any difference.
Well, usually you get thrown in there with that.
And I can tell you that if this goes through, there is going to be increases in payroll costs in this organization equal to somebody's salary.
Well, it's been nice, everybody.
So that's what I'm saying.
Why would you think there's...
Well, we're looking for volunteers to leave.
That's what I'm saying. And we got barely enough people here to do the work that needs to be done.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
And I would point out that this is a House bill. I don't know if there's a Senate companion.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, there you go. So anyway, this is the sort of thing, and I'm just going to rather long-worded thing, and it is part of the conversation that we generally get into here on Coffee and. Oh, for the Senate side, self-checkout lines at grocery stores are once again on a hearing schedule. This time
For what?
in the Senate. There is an Act 2268 relating to commercial law. Grocery stores limits the number of customer self-checkout stations to 6. Wonder how that's going to work out at Walmart.
Not so well, since most of them are self-checkout.
Yeah, it's like 25.
And I only bring Walmart out, but we can all
They get
think
the-
of
they get the
lots
big
of
ones,
different
yeah.
stores that
Or
have a
Stop and
lot
Shop,
more.
okay.
Yeah, they have a lot more than 6. But 6 self-checkouts only.
What's the
Which,
reason,
of course,
what's the reasoning
will
behind this?
it will
It's a pro-
increase.
It's
It
a
will
pro-labor
inc-
bill.
Okay.
But this is what they don't get. The
They'll have to hire
unintended
people.
consequences are not included in the discussion on these bills, in my belief, because what's going to happen next is, okay, fine, you can only have 6 self-checkout
Self.
lines. What does that mean? It means all those empty cashier lines will now have to be staffed with people who will have to be paid every week instead of every other week, which means the cost of your Cheerios is going to double.
Oh, super.
That's the way it's going to go.
Melissa disagrees.
Yeah, I do.
No, it's only going to go up by 50%. I'm sorry, I exaggerated.
Anyway, back to the chamber.
Where are
Anyway,
they going
yes,
to
I
Where
thought
are they going to get the money for this? I just thought it might be a nice little discussion.
All right.
But as I say, the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce is going to bring this to you, if you are a member of the chamber, each and every week. They report on what's going on so that you will at least be informed about the goings on down in the legislature. Some of them are very good, by the way, and I unfortunately used up all my time talking about some of the more attacking things. There are some things that they're thinking of down there in the legislature which will benefit many, and I think they probably ought to go, and they're not really going to do too much. There's always this stuff. Right, Melissa? It's like mandating coverage from insurance companies. Well, what do you think that does to insurance rates, huh?
Sends them up.
Think about that. Think about that for a
That's
minute.
always the argument, but when you talk about like coverage for insulin, for example, and we did that before the national law, and we did it here in Rhode Island, and they said, oh no, everyone's premium is going to go up if we do this. Oh, we can't do this. We can't do this. We can't do this. And then suddenly, oh, you know what? We're going to voluntarily lower the cost of insulin now because it was increased 550% over like the last 10 years. It's just price gouging. And then they do it with supermarkets too. And like going back to the checkout thing, if you have more than 6 self-checkouts, you're a big corporation. And we already know that corporations are inflating prices of products just because they can. It's like the whole cereal for dinner thing now. Like, oh, well, let's get, since people are struggling, let's do this whole push to we'll push cereal for dinner. Like, these are big corporations and big companies and big insurance companies that are just try to scare people so that they can stay wealthy. That's my take on it. But
Okay.
Good comeback.
All right. Very
Well,
good.
2 sides to every story. That's why I brought it up for conversation. But you will be advised of all the goings on, as I say, and make up your own mind about things because you'll have the information if you join the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce 334-1000. I guess that's the only message we're going to give them today because it's like 10 minutes long.
All right. Well, my theory, by the way, in the whole, if we go down to 6, Dave said, if we go down to 6 self-checkouts, they're going to have to hire more people to staff the registers. No, they won't.
Really?
No, we'll just go down to 6. We're
and the
gonna keep,
lines will be longer.
That's right. That is exactly it, Melissa. We're going to keep
Have
the
you ever
same number of
gone into-
cashiers,
yeah.
and we're just going to have long lines.
Have you ever
just
gone
gonna
into
have to deal with it.
a certain store down the street and there's only ever one lane open, even though there's like 4 lanes, but there's only ever one open, and the line just goes all the way back through
Yeah.
the aisles, but they never open a second register
Because there's nobody there.
because they don't want to spend the money.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. And we're still going to make the money off the food
And
or
this is
whatever
a
you're
very
buying.
big, and I'm not going to say them, but you
Yeah.
probably know who I'm talking about. This is a really huge national chain.
Yeah. So, but back to the pay. Whether you get paid once a month or twice a month or bi-weekly or once a week, it really shouldn't matter. Just you gotta, if you get paid once a month, budget for the month.
There's all your money. There's all your money.
Don't spend it all in 3 days. And oh my God, I'm out. Well, that's your fault.
Right.
This was supposed to last you a month.
You worked all month. You got paid for your wages, and now there's the money. Now you got to make that last till your next paycheck.
All right.
If you get paid every week, you have to make it last to your next paycheck.
That's right. So nothing's changed. So okay. Moving on to other things. Steve Lawrence passed away last night. Melissa looks confused. Do you know who Steve Lawrence is? Steve and Edie? No?
George and Gracie.
Wow.
They were friends.
You don't know who Steve Lawrence is?
I don't think so.
Wow. I think.
Play a little clip.
I don't know if she'll know. She might not. She won't know. She won't know the a song, but a picture might help. See if I can find
Okay.
my phone.
I'm
real
blanking.
quick here. Gray hair guy.
It's a lot of those.
Yeah, I know that really narrows it down, doesn't it? Let's see
Yeah.
if I can- no, that's not a very good picture of him. That's an older picture, but that one's not too bad. And any ringing a bell?
I don't think so. No.
Wow, okay. So you missed the. All right, here he is in his younger days. Him and his wife. She's passed away too. Let's see. Come on, Edie Gourmet.
Oh, I guess so. Kind of.
Okay. A singer, crooner. Him and his wife had hits, and then he was on the Carol Burnett show quite a bit. He acted. He was in the Blues Brothers movie. One of my favorite roles.
I vaguely remember the Carol
Okay.
Burnett show.
All
but
right. Well, he passed away last night.
I'm sorry.
Oh well,
Oh,
he's up
my
there.
condolences.
He's with the Jerry Vale and the Frank Sinatra crowd.
Yeah.
People. But he passed away. He was 88 last night.
That's a good run, though.
Yes, he was, and he passed away from
Almost 90.
Alzheimer's
Oh,
disease.
that's that's a terrible disease.
Daylight savings is this weekend, so everybody
So excited.
remember, spring those clocks forward. We're also getting the PSA to change your batteries in your smoke detectors.
Yes,
or at
that's
least
right, yep.
check your smoke detectors.
At least check
to
them.
see if it works.
Carbon monoxide, smoke
Yep.
detectors.
There's
so
little-
important.
There's little buttons on these things. Just
Yep. It
push
says-
them.
Yes, it says test, and you'll have a very loud, shrill.
But it only lasts for like 3 seconds and
Yeah.
it's done. So no need to actually go start a small fire to see if it actually works. I was telling Dave, I had issues with smoke detectors because they were going off and we weren't cooking. There was no fire. What is causing this? And they call them smoke detectors only because the smoke comes into the machine and it blocks the laser beam that's in there from connecting. But anything can do that. And we had firefighters come over. Dust can do it.
Yeah.
Spiders can do it.
Oh.
Well, decent
I
size.
know. Oh,
I mean, they're not huge spiders.
I know.
But they
I know,
come over
I
and
know.
they just walk across the beam, and it cuts it. So it's a
If you
fire.
have a little spider living in there, it's constantly going off.
So there you go.
Pesky.
Yeah. So but daylight savings time this weekend. Turn those clocks ahead, and we get that good daylight time in the afternoon.
Yeah, it's
Not
gonna be
so-
awesome.
Not so good in the morning. It's gonna be really dark.
That's
sick,
okay.
but
I'd rather have that trade off.
have it dark in the morning and lighter in the
Yeah,
afternoon.
yeah.
Yep. And it's always daylight savings is always the big initial. I look forward to it because that means baseball season is right around the corner once we go into that. So there you go.
Excited for spring and warmer weather.
Warm weather. That's right. So, all right, we're going to take a break right now in the Coffee and Program, but more coming your way. And as Dave mentioned, this portion of the Coffee and Program has been sponsored by the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce. Check them out online at nrichamber.com. It's a real family affair at Under the Willow Bakery in Cumberland. Michelle, the owner of Under the Willow Bakery, uses small batch family recipes she's gathered from her mother, grandmother, aunt, sister, mother-in-law, father-in-law, and grandmother-in-law. Small batch cooking uses quality ingredients and all items are made fresh daily. Under the Willow Bakery specializes in breakfast pastries and desserts, plus specialty coffees and teas. Under the Willow Bakery is at 3383 Mendon Road, Cumberland, near the corner of Manville Hill Road, and they're open Tuesday through Friday at 7:30, Saturday and Sunday at 8. See their menu at underthewillowbakery.com.
This is Tim Draper from Navigant Credit Union. I'm inviting you to an important discussion on how to safeguard you and your loved ones from financial fraud, exploitation, and cyber theft. Come join us at the Elks Lodge on Social Street on March 14th at 10 a.m., where we will have a panel of experts discuss how to protect you and your finances. We'll show you what the latest scams look like. We'll talk about how to protect yourself and what to do if you think you are a victim. Space is limited, so please call Amanda LaRose at 233-3108, or you can email her at ce@navigantcu.org. Don't wait, space is limited. Hey, you know what? We'll even buy you lunch right after for attending. Hope to see you there.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
ON Radio.
Okay, Coffee and on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us this morning. I'm Joe Callahan, and Dave Richards is here, although he's out of the studio at the moment. Melissa Murray is here. Rich Lane will not be joining us this week. He had other things he had to attend to today, but Rich will be with us next week. So, State of the Union address
Yes.
was last night. Did you watch it, Melissa?
So no, I didn't watch it initially because my expectations were very low.
Okay.
And I also knew there was going to be heckling. And
I heard one.
it wasn't as bad, I guess. But just to go back to that, I was just thinking, can you imagine that if I went into the State of the State address and the governor is speaking and I just stood up and started like shouting at him, liar,
You're a liar.
That's not what people would think, that I was a crazy person.
Yeah.
Right. So I can't imagine.
But it started.
It's horrible that this is even happening.
The first time I heard it was Barack Obama was giving
Yeah.
a speech, and then so every State of the Union since then,
It's gotten worse.
Something happens.
The last one was really, really bad.
Doesn't matter who the president
And
is.
I just said, I just, not that I want to be ignorant, but I just didn't want to, I wasn't feeling well. I was a little under the weather. And I was just like, I can't, I'm embarrassed. I don't want to watch it. But I ended up watching some of it.
okay.
And I was expecting not very much. And President Biden exceeded my expectations.
Okay.
I was
State,
pleasantly surprised.
U.S. Senator Sheldon Whitehouse got a lot of TV time because he was standing right next to Elizabeth Warren.
Right.
And they were having conversations, and
Yep.
you can't miss it because Sheldon is just so damn
He's
tall.
so, yeah, I know.
And so I was like, it's like, oh, hey, Sheldon's there. That's great. But the things that just bug me, and I watched this, at least some of it. I watched at least the beginning of the State of the Union, and because that's what bugs me the most. And I know there's a lot of pomp and circumstance with it, and I get it.
Yeah.
But first of all,
always that.
they say the speech is going to start at 9:00. It never starts at 9:00. It starts about 25 past because the president takes so long walking in.
Yeah.
Because everybody's got to shake hands, and then we got to kiss the babies and shake hands.
That's how the State of the State is too.
And then-
Everybody walks in, and then
you got to stop because everybody's got their phone, and we got to take pictures, and we got to have selfies, and it's like, and they know that the State of the Union is televised, and I'm sure some radio stations carry it live as well.
Right.
There's an audience, and probably a massive audience, because it's the
Sure.
biggest speech of the year.
Yep.
And you got to get to it, and it's got to start early because it's going to be a long speech anyway.
That's
So
the political.
it
pomp.
just starts
Yeah.
so late.
So
Later
you
than it
think they should start the State of the Union speech
Start
at 2 in the afternoon?
Not
That'd be
that
11 Central
not-
Pacific
Not
time.
quite that early.
8 in the morning out in Hawaii.
But just okay, Speaker of the House, the president, everybody stands up and claps. Okay, but move it along, and just keep your hand up for high fives, right down the line. I'm here, up, and now I'm on the
That
podium.
sounds like the Joe Biden we
And I'm-
didn't elect president.
I'm ready to begin. Please sit down. Here we go.
Yeah.
But it doesn't
doesn't.
happen away.
No,
It bugs
it
me
doesn't happen.
every single year that
Yep.
it just takes so long
Yep.
before we actually start talking.
You gotta introduce this person. You gotta introduce that person. Yeah, I know. That's how it goes at the
Mm-hmm.
state level too.
And do you feel? I felt it last night. I
I wonder
guess
what they
felt it
charge
a-
for the aisle seats.
People were rushing to get to the aisle seats. They're knocking people over to get there. But I've also noticed that, and it's happened over the past few years. It's a State of the Union address, but it's really a political speech. It's really a re-elect me speech. It seems
Yeah.
to just happen all
Yeah.
the time now.
Yeah, but it's provided
This-
for
this
in the
wonderful-
Constitution, Joe.
Oh, I know. You're supposed to have it every year. I get it, and we should keep doing
If
it.
it's
but all
political,
on-
then it's because you turn it into something political.
Yep. So, and
It's supposed to be.
and everybody does it. So
It's supposed to be equivalent to the annual audit
yeah.
of what's been going on, where are we now, where are we going.
Okay. You probably weren't watching it at this time, Melissa, because he did this early. Kind of admonished the Supreme Court, who's all sitting right there,
I did see
and
that.
said, "We will bring back Roe versus Wade." And they're all, they don't clap. They don't clap. They don't
Nope.
stand. They just
Right,
sit
they
there
just-
and watch. They don't-
Always, yeah.
and they did that this time too. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I wonder what they're thinking when he said that last night.
Right,
It's like,
but there's, they
like,
remain.
how are you going to do this?
completely neutral.
Yes, they didn't smile. They didn't frown.
That's their job.
They don't get up and stand up and walk out or anything like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I was actually surprised that he said that. It was like, it had to do with the whole thing that's going on in Alabama.
Yeah.
And with
IVF,
with
which
the
is
IVF
just-
stuff,
oh my gosh.
which is just
Kind of wild
and the whole thing that happened in Texas, where people have to leave the state if they're going to
Mm-hmm. Yep.
have an abortion, and it's just driving them crazy. So, but he said it looked like he was admonishing the court, bad people.
Yep.
And
Yep.
we will do this again. That's about the big takeaway. Besides the guy that heckled, I don't know if they said they got the guy and they ushered him out, but I don't know if it was a senator or a congressman. It has something to do with his son was killed
Oh,
at
yes,
some
right.
attack. So I actually don't know how he got in. So
Yeah.
I don't think it was an actual representative. So I don't know. So so that was the State of the Union. I was able to only watch about a half an hour of it because it's getting so late for me. So
I
I'm
know
like,
it was late for me too,
I'm
and
like, okay, all
I
right.
wasn't feeling my
Yep.
best, but I did see some clips afterwards, and then after I saw it, I said, well, now I wish I had watched the whole thing. But I just
And I also wish I'd seen the Republican response because all I'm hearing is what we're hearing on our news, on our
Oh, my
news clips.
goodness.
And so I didn't see the whole thing, but if I'm
I
just going by
had to turn it off.
If we're just going by what our news people are giving us, a pretty weak response, I think, from the Republicans. But I didn't see the whole thing.
Yeah. It was just very kind of strange. Like it started off with
Yeah.
a story about sex trafficking and
Yeah.
how just like that story went on for like quite a long time, which is kind of a little strange. But the delivery was a bit weird. They picked somebody who wasn't seasoned, and I think
I don't know why
that
they
was
went with a
unfair.
rookie. Yeah.
Yeah, that
So,
was unfair.
Here we're going to throw you in front of a national audience, so do well.
Yeah,
And,
right.
And she went with what I just heard our clips. Joe Biden just doesn't get it. I said, that's so easy to say if you're not backing it up.
It's rhetoric.
It is.
Right.
It is rhetoric. So,
Yeah, it
make
wasn't.
sure you get this in
it
there.
was it was a bit painful to watch.
So that's about it on the State of the Union. So okay.
But they don't have to worry. They've got their nominee.
The
Why-
Democrats.
yeah, Republicans.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Why would
yeah.
why would they put so much into it? Because hey, we've already won.
I mean,
This is how they're
this
thinking.
is a national stage. You really should.
Have someone
someone
more, a
who
little
is-
more
think-
prominent.
Do you think
more-
at that level they recognize the importance of that? As when I'm using too many pronouns. Do you think at the level that we're talking about that the Republican operatives that making these decisions really look at it and say, geez, this is really important. We should be careful about this. I don't. I think they're saying, all right, who's due a favor?
Maybe. But
And hey, maybe that kid that we really, really like. Maybe we should test her and see if she could be Trump's running mate.
Yeah.
not her.
Not her.
And so we'll put her out. We'll give her a screen test because it really doesn't matter what we say. It's all going to be. The Republican response or
all
whatever
rhetoric.
the other party's response is always say no sir.
Yeah,
And it's got all the maturity of the junior high school. No sir.
Well, if
Yeah.
they were going to do that, and I think that's what they should have done. They should have gone with the governor of South Dakota, the woman, I can't remember her name, or go with Tim Scott, or go with Ramaswamy. I can't remember his Vinayak, or whatever his name is. One of those three.
He's a little snarky though.
I know.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what they would have wanted.
Maybe.
But they didn't. So they went with the one from Alabama. And so, okay. Other things, let's see, that are going on. Let's see. Online gaming is up and running down there at the casino. It went live on noon on Tuesday. Adults 21 and older who are physically located in the state can now play slots and table games with Bally's iGame app.
Unless you're clever enough to make believe that you're in the state.
I
And
would
be
like-
somewhere else.
I should try it. I should go out of state. And,
Don't
and,
try
and,
I
and
don't
try
want
to-
you to get trouble.
No, if you just
I
go out
wouldn't
of
get in
state with your
trouble.
cell phone,
Right.
they'll be able to tell.
Oh, they'll just be you'll
Well,
be
but
outside
that's-
the
Oh,
geo.
yes.
Yes,
But
right.
but
the
if
GPS.
you go to the Russian headquarters of the Russian embassy in New York City or Boston, Massachusetts, and they can spoof IP addresses, then they're not going to be able to tell that you're not in Rhode Island.
You sure? Well, if you spoof it, so
Oh, come on. Anybody who's been in this business long enough knows that it's so easy to lie to a computer.
not me. I don't get it.
I mean, look at all the dumb stuff coming out with AI. All the ads that went to New Hampshire saying they were from President Biden, weren't from President Biden. Come on. It's so easy to lie to a computer.
Well, I'd still like to give it a shot. I'll drive over the line into Bellingham and give it a shot and see if it works. Nope. We know you're up the road there.
I
so-
honestly don't think that the people in charge of gaming care where you are. They only care about being compliant with the government authority
Well, yeah.
that is regulating them. And so they're going to go as far to the letter of the law as the government makes them go. And then, hey, if somebody fools us, okay.
Right. Well, it's not our fault. We thought they were in the state. Money, money, money.
What was
Yeah.
the real?
Of course,
but
of course, if they had to go to Lincoln, they'd know they were in
Yeah.
the state of Rhode Island.
but
You
technically,
can't fool with that.
you don't have to be in the state. Your phone has to be in the state.
Right.
So I could leave the phone here,
Oh,
go
gotcha.
home, call Dave. Dave, pick up my phone
That's
and
right.
make this bet for me.
But you're.
I don't know
yeah.
why I would wanna
mean,
do
I don't
that,
know what.
but-
Right.
But the phone has to be physically in the state. So, all right. But it started on Tuesday. If you want to give it,
You see,
give it
he's
a
got this
look-see.
all figured out already.
I'm gonna leave my phone here.
I'm
Like,
t-
no,
yeah.
that doesn't
Well,
even
how-
make any
how
sense.
And let's-
inconvenient is that?
I know.
I don't want to be disparaging in any way, but I mean, if Joe Callahan can figure this out, you think that Joey's six-pack isn't going to be able to figure it out?
That's right. I'm the thousandth person that's
Joey
figured it out.
Six Pack. I really like that name. I feel like that's Joe's gangster name.
Well, a little bit closer to home, right here in the city of Woonsocket. Front page on today's Blacksville Valley Call-in-Times. Steve D'Agostino is retiring. He's not coming back.
Wait a
To
minute,
the
wait a minute.
Woonsocket-
On the
Woonsocket
Woonsocket Housing Authority.
Yes,
Yeah, be
yes,
sure you
yes.
say that
Oh, my
first.
goodness.
I was getting to it.
Well, I think it should
Housing
be
Authority.
first.
He has decided to not
His
seek
work on the Housing
reappointment.
Authority has been completed.
Yes. So John Egan has been appointed to the Woonsocket Housing Authority Board of Commissioners. And
I know John, by the
Do
way.
you?
Yeah, sincere man. And I know that he's been close to this for some time. And he's got a lot of opinions, like his dad did. I don't know if people remember Bob Egan, who ran the Shamrock Cafe. Bob, in his heyday, Bob's passed on now. He was in his 90s when he passed on, but he was a fixture down at Monument Square for many, many, many years. But he also was on a zoning board and different commissions and things like that down through his younger years and more productive years. And his son John kind of picked that up and said, I like to help out this way, that way. I've got a few opinions. And so I think John's going to do fine and be a swell addition to the Housing Authority Board. I really do.
all right, very good. And it's what was it? Steve D'Agostino's term was ending like today or next week.
No, I don't think it was that imminent. It's just that he's no longer needed there.
Well, it says Egan has technically been appointed to fill out the remainder of D'Agostino's unexpired term, which
Right.
ends on Friday.
Oh, well, okay. Fine. So is that close? All right.
Yeah,
I
it is
didn't
close.
realize
I
when
mean,
he was
close.
ending.
It's not like Steve's not busy. and
Well, that's
stuff.
right. He's got other things
Doing other things.
to take up his time here in the city of Woonsocket. All right, we're gonna take a break here in the Coffee and program, and more is coming your way. It's time for a look at the forecast, which is being brought to you by Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
Sunny skies and a high of 50 today, but with a north wind over 25 miles per hour. Tonight, increasingly cloudy, overnight low of 29. Saturday's weather, cloudy skies, 44. Saturday night, 100% chance of rain after 8 p.m., low of 37, patchy fog, wind gusts over 40 miles per hour, new precipitation amounts between 3/4 and an inch of rain possible Saturday night. Sunday, rain, 80% chance, patchy fog, breezy with a south wind over 25 miles per hour. Winds could gust over 35 miles per hour on Sunday with a high of 54 degrees. Monday, partial sunshine, 46, windy from the northwest over 40 miles per hour. Tuesday, sunshine and 49, breezy over 30 miles per hour from the northwest. Wednesday, sunshine and 56. Thursday, partial sunshine, 57.
Thanks, Dave. Currently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio on the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. Sunny skies and 41 degrees. For victims of drunk and drug driving, your grief is unique, but you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call the 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit madwith2ds.org. Dave's got a message now from Chan's Fine Oriental Dining.
At 267 Main Street in Woonsocket, right you are, Mr. Callahan. And tonight, Friday the 8th, Brass Attack. Oh, we know them, and we love them. It's Powerhouse, 9-piece group with 4 horns performing the music of Steely Dan, Stevie Wonder, Earth, Wind, and Fire, Tower of Power. Well, 3 out of 4 ain't bad, Joe. I know that you're big fans of Steely Dan and Earth, Wind, and Fire and Tower of Power. Stevie Wonder, I'm not sure how you feel about him.
I'm okay with Stevie.
Okay, there you go.
I like old Stevie Wonder.
So we'll be seeing you at Chan's tonight then. 8 o'clock is when the show starts. It's $25 if you buy the ticket ahead. If you wait to walk in, $30 at the door for Brass Attack tonight at Chan's in the Four Seasons Banquet Room. Tomorrow night, by the way, the Knickerbocker All-Stars, another great band returning to Chan's. They've been there many times and always bringing a nice crowd, and everybody has a great time. 8 o'clock is the show time, $25 in advance and $30 at the door, featuring Monster Mike Welsh. And if you want to know how we got the nickname, show up at Chan's tomorrow night at 8 o'clock for the Knickerbocker All-Stars. Plus great food, great drinks, all at Chan's, 267 Main Street in Woonsocket, Rhode Island.
You know, when you're paying the right price for protection, you just know it. It's that warm, fuzzy, totally secure feeling, knowing that you're not only getting great coverage, but you're also not paying too much for it. And when it comes to your insurance, there's no one better at getting the right price for your protection than Allstate agents Kara and Celeste Benjamin, because they know when it comes to your bank account, every penny counts towards something bigger, something better. Like a nicer car, that home update you've been dreaming of, or a phone that's fresh out of the box. Those little or big things that we work so hard for. And Kara and Celeste Benjamin want to help you work a little less by getting you the coverage you need and the savings you deserve when you switch to Allstate. Contact Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, 2 locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. 765-5000 for a free quote today. Allstate, you're in good hands. And you're in good hands with Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. Savings vary based on the average annual savings reported by new auto customers surveyed in 2019 who switched to Allstate.
Lou Mandeville here to tell you the only place to get your local high school and college scores, as well as the Pats, Bruins, Celtics, and Sox is on My Morning Sports Reports. And they are right here on ON 1240, Monday through Friday on the Morning Fun Show.
This portion of the Coffee and program is sponsored by the Valley Breeze newspapers, which Dave happens to have in his hands.
I certainly do, Joe. And, of course, the big thing of the Valley Breeze newspapers for us this week is that you get game card number 2 of your radio squares. You want to show them game card number 2 there, Joe, by the way, so they get a nice little color picture, those who are watching on our television stream. And this one happens to be from the Cumberland and Lincoln edition. If you go to page 26 of the Valley Breeze, which is the second page of the second section, there you go, player alert right there. Game card number 2 and all the 25 squares and 25 wonderful local businesses who are playing in our Radio Squares contest. And as you've been hearing, game card number 1 is closed. Game card number 2, you'll find it in the Valley Breezes that were published yesterday. I have in my hand the Cumberland Lincoln edition of the Valley Breeze, and there's some interesting news stories here. Of course, they have Sophia Barr has a very in-depth story with color pictures and everything of the fire on Bouvier Avenue last week. Bystanders, firefighters quickly respond to the Bouvier Avenue blaze in Manville. Of course, it says Lincoln, but it's Manville. We all know it is Manville. In Woonsocket, Manville was like a whole... Manville and Albion were almost like part of Woonsocket's culture, but they were Lincoln. Right?
Yeah.
That's kind of
Right.
like what happened, really. And then, of course, Ethan Shorey has a story here from Cumberland talking about the old ski lodge from the ski resort. It's coming down. And he also has a story about the white supremacists, again, targeting Cumberland. This group is an extension of neo-Nazi National Socialist Club 131. That's in the Cumberland Lincoln edition. In the Woonsocket edition, your Valley Breeze ON Radio Square grid for game card number 2 is on page number 2 in this edition here, North Smithfield, Woonsocket, and Blackstone. And the big stories here, Ethan Shorey has a story about Woonsocket couple hunting down Rhode Island's lost spuds. Remember when there used to be a Mr. Potato Head, back when you could say Mr. Potato Head without having people from the left scowl at you?
I had the original one that like didn't look at all like how it looks now.
Yeah, I had a Mr. Potato Head when I was growing up,
Yeah.
you know, made right in Pawtucket, manufactured right here in Rhode Island from Hasbro. Well, anyway, the point is, there was one for every Rhode Island city and town. It was something done by the Blackstone Valley Tourism Council to celebrate the fact that Hasbro's Rhode Island and Mr. Potato Head was very beloved. And so in each place, they had Mr. Potato Head.
Like a big fiberglass.
Set up,
Yeah.
set up in a way. I mean, and they were more than 6 or 7 feet tall, but they were set up and decorated in a way that had something to do with the town's culture. You know, you had a Mr. Potato Head as a quahog down South County. You had a Mr. Potato Head as an elephant in Chepachet for Gloucester because of the elephant that was shot on the bridge in Main Street in Chepachet way back in the 1800s. And there were different, different ones. So anyway, so Mark Bertholet and his wife are hunting down all of the Mr. Potato Heads and refurbishing them.
Well,
Read all about it in the Valley Breeze. Water treatment plant, new site for animal shelter. We've been hearing about that, and we talked to the mayor about it yesterday on Coffee and Joe.
Good to hear.
Bella Pelletier has it all in print right there. And residents debate the legality of political signs in North Smithfield. This is getting to be a story in North Smithfield.
It is.
And it was
taking on a
triggered.
life of its own.
It was triggered by, well, first of all, there was a certain smug pride that North Smithfield residents had that it had been a quote-unquote gentleman's agreement that we're not going to put up, clutter the town. Our beautiful town is not going to be cluttered with political signs at political time.
Correct.
And besides, it'll save us a couple of bucks anyway. And so they just didn't.
Right.
But, of
Unless
course,
your opponent put one up, then it was fair game.
well,
That
there
was
you
the
go.
unwritten rule.
Yeah,
Right.
but now, of course, that's been broken a few times, and someone put up a Trump sign right at the intersection of Black Plain Road and Pound. Was it Black Plain Road and was it Pound Hill Road? I forget. It was in the Primrose section.
All right.
It's at an intersection, and you can see it on a tree. It's on private property. And of course, now it's the focus of read all about it. Bella Pelletier has the story there, and of course, be sure to pick up that and look at the wonderful ads from local advertisers that are going on. I'm sure that the folks at the Valley Breeze will also want me to mention their promotion that is coming up. On the inside fold-out page, like the centerfold of the Valley Breeze, you'll read all about it. There, the Valley Breeze, free reshop every Thursday.
Okay. House Speaker Joe
By,
Shikarchi.
by the way, where is the rooster this morning?
He's not here. He's away.
You know, I noticed that. I was just wondering
Doing a
if
little
you knew
vacation
where.
time.
Oh,
I'm not sure-
vacation
I'm not sure where he
time.
is this time. Right? He did mention it, but it's slipping my mind at the moment.
Okay.
So down at the State House, Joe Shikarchi, the House Speaker, sent in 15 bills. Mm-hmm. Wow, all on the same subject.
All of them named William, huh?
Yeah, 15 bills
What were their names
to
before?
propose several changes to existing laws to deal with the housing crisis here in the state of Rhode Island. He's got new concepts, change existing laws, and include expansion of homeowners' ability to rent out living space and allow municipalities to count mobile homes toward affordable housing goals.
That's a trick.
Yeah,
That's a
That's a
trick.
gimmick.
Yeah,
That's a gimmick. Mobile
Not gonna
homes.
Kind
fly.
of that's kind of baloney.
All right.
You don't think a trailer's affordable?
No, they're trying to count it as their 8% housing, so that they can be higher to the 10% threshold, and it's not what that should be.
Oh, okay.
Well, he's trying to give towns, cities and towns, more tools to create additional housing.
That's right.
Yeah.
The state's
Build-
going to allow mother-in-law apartments, even though zoning regulations may have a differing view.
Yep, I know the ADUs. It's an issue. It's an issue in places like Newport too, where the fear is, well, who's going to stop them from renting them out as an Airbnb? And
What's to
it's
stop them? Nothing.
right. So there's concerns there. There's really concerns there. Like, is that housing going to go? Like, okay, you could put your mother-in-law family should stay together. That's great. Up until last year, my family and I all lived in the same house. My parents lived on the first floor. I lived on the second floor. Like old school. My mom used to say, just like a nice Italian family. And it's great, and I miss that. But and if you're going to do an ADU and nobody's going to check that.
What's an
and
ADU?
Accessory dwelling unit. I'm sorry.
Oh, I see.
Except like a mother-in-law, like a little extension, and then you're gonna, rent it out or use it as an Airbnb. That doesn't help the housing crisis. It hurts it, right? Which is some of the reasons, and like where in Narragansett, or even in, like I said, in Newport, where people can't find housing, but other folks have multiple homes and they are using them as like income properties. It's not that easy to say like ADUs are going to solve the housing crisis.
According to the news story, Rhode Island builds the fewest new housing units per capita in the United States.
That is true.
It's the smallest state.
That's true. We're woefully behind.
Although, yes, we are woefully behind. You realize that a full 53% of Rhode Island is forested? And that more than half of that is protected and has to be forested because it's been sold as some sort of conservation thing?
Right, which is why we need to get creative, but we need to do it in a way that doesn't...
I know, but the housing people are pointing out, says, 53% of this state is forested. There's room to put houses in here.
Well...
No, there isn't, because most of that forested land is protected from development, any development at all.
Yeah, and that's important. It's important as well.
Oh.
We brought up...
But it doesn't help the argument.
It doesn't.
You brought up Newport a little bit a while ago, Melissa. So $5 million from the feds
Oh, yeah.
could be coming to the city of Newport to fix and repair the cliff walk.
Gabe Amo was on our show not so long ago, and he released what I thought was a pretty impressive graphic.
Yeah.
I wish I could show it to you right now. I didn't prepare it for broadcast, so
I saw
can't.
that too.
I can't just throw it up for you.
What's it say?
But is it on our website for the news, or will it be a news story on our website?
It will be, yeah.
Okay, so people can go and see this at woonsockeradio.com. Look in the center on the front page for the news story from Congressman Amo about this. And he showed a great graphic. It's got an outline of the state of Rhode Island, and around it, it's got all the different federal monies.
In his district.
Right, in his district.
And what it's going for.
Pointing toward where in the district it's going.
Oh, it's good information.
It is a good infographic.
It is, and you can see all that. And it's something even better than that, I thought. I'll tell you about in a moment, but it has a little arrow that points toward Newport, and it says to assisting cleaning up the cliff walk, which is a lot of people think it's a national treasure. And so some federal money is going to be coming to help out with that. But what I really liked about the press release, and this is one reason you're going to see Gabe Amo's press releases on our website more frequently than you got a chance to see some of the others, because most of the, and I hope he doesn't go this way, most of the press releases we get from our congressional delegation, both Senate and House, are Democratic Party publicity, ads for Democrats, and there's rhetoric involved and everything else like that. And rather than rewriting everything else to a more neutral verbiage, we just don't put them up. Gabe Amos hasn't succumbed to that yet. I hope it's not yet, but I mean, he hasn't. But I mean, Cicilline hadn't succumbed to it, and then he did. But and I still love him. But Gabe Amo puts right in that press release. He says, I've only been here for a short time. Credit goes to Congressman Cicilline for setting all this up.
Starting it,
All I did was follow through.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
And you don't get a Congress critter talking like that too often.
That's true. That is true.
We're going to take a break, but before, I got a funny Cliff Walk story. Going there one time, this is about 20 or 30 years ago, and it's tough finding parking in Newport. And I saw there was a spot right on the, whatever that road is where the Cliff Walk is. And, boy, there's a lot of cars there. But there's a Newport police officer who's standing right on the sidewalk.
Right.
And I pulled into the spot that's along the side of the road, and I'm about 7/8 of in the spot, but 1/8 of it's hanging out. And so I get out of the car and I look at the cop. I go, "Good enough?" He's like, "No." I'm so glad he was there because I would have got a ticket.
That's right.
When I was okay,
Do another 50-point
I
churn.
said, all right, I'll go somewhere else, and I took off. All right, break time here on Coffee Ann. This portion of Coffee Ann was sponsored by the Valley Breeze newspaper.
The Valley Breeze has been a local news leader since its founding in 1996, and more people are reading our stories today than ever before. We believe our mission of making our community stronger by telling their stories is not just a tagline, but a way of life for our staff as they connect with you, our loyal readers and advertisers. Our team thanks you for always reading, always reaching out, and always helping toward our shared vision. Check out any of our 5 editions or visit valleybreeze.com for more.
Ed Carew here of the Carew Investment Group, 68 Cumberland Street in Woonsocket. Our telephone number is 765-8880. In business, you don't last long if you don't know what you're doing. And if that's the case, I must know a thing or two. I've been in the investing business since 1987, helping people just like you with their investments. At the Carew Investment Group, we employ a conservative approach to client portfolios by using only the best quality companies available, many of which pay a quarterly dividend. We look for opportunities that we expect will go up in value, not every day, but over time. We take our responsibility seriously and always place our client needs first in any investment decision. If you want to know more or would like a free portfolio review of your current holdings, call Ed at 765-8880. Securities offered through Bolton Global Capital, member FINRA, NSIPC, and advisory services offered through Bolton Global Asset Management, a registered investment advisor.
The world-class distributor of all things electrical is Electrical Wholesalers. They are a full-service electrical distributor with branches throughout Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and New Hampshire. Locally, they're at 113 Clinton Street next to KFC here in Woonsocket, with other locations in Cranston and Franklin, Massachusetts. Electrical Wholesalers provides the highest quality service to electrical contractors as well as residential, commercial, and industrial customers. Electrical Wholesalers is open Monday through Friday, 7 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon. Visit ew-ne.com. Electrical Wholesalers.
Coffee Ann on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan with Dave Richards and Melissa Murray. And Melissa's got a little update on Post 85 for this coming weekend.
Yes, standing in for Rich this morning. I know that he would want to remind everybody about their St. Patrick's Day celebration at Post 85 on Sunday, March 17th. They're going to have a traditional corned beef and cabbage dinner, musical entertainment by the legendary Runnin' Wild Band. So the band starts at 5 p.m. So what they're doing is they have a lunch special from 12 to 2, which is a corned beef sandwich, coleslaw, and chips for $7. It's a great deal. And then the dinner starts from 4 p.m. until they run out, which is a full corned beef dinner for $14. And they're going to have a 50-50 drawing. And like I said, Runnin' Wild Band at 5 p.m. And this is kind of off a little bit in the distance, Friday, April 5th. But I know he probably mentioned this too, which is the 3rd annual Purple Up Ham Dinner Kickoff. That's Friday, April 5th, 5 p.m. until they run out. $10 a plate. They'll have raffles, etc., all for Purple Up, which is the month of the military child, which is in April every year.
All right, Melissa, thank you very much.
Well done.
All right, Melissa, you always like a good animal story.
Okay, is this a good one or a bad one?
No, this is a good one.
Okay, good. Let's bring it.
And kind of close by, there were delays on the MBTA Green Line yesterday morning because a baby duck got stuck on the tracks. Whack, whack. And whoever was driving the Green Line stopped the train so they wouldn't run over the duck. It took 10 minutes to get the duck off the tracks.
And that doesn't include going and getting someone to get
someone that can do it.
Right.
and then
Yeah.
rescheduling, resyncing the train on the tracks.
Yeah. Trains were halted about 9 in the morning after the duck was spotted on the tracks between North Station and
Prime
Science
time.
Park. Yeah, it's a great time. It took 10 minutes to get the duck off the tracks, and the delays had cleared in about a half an hour. After that, we can start
Okay,
driving the Green
okay.
Line. So good news in that situation right there. The baby duck made it. No
Yep,
word on
yep.
where the mama duck was. She made it across fine.
Right.
Okay.
You got to learn to fly, kid. All right.
Joe, this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you're going to
No,
say
go ahead,
something?
no.
All right. This weekend, we're going to put all our clocks forward.
Yes.
And
We talked about that earlier.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I miss that? Because I had
You
to
missed
go
that
and
point.
do something else.
Daylight savings.
I missed it.
And the
Okay.
whole thing with the
Smoke
batteries and the
detectors?
smoke detectors. Yep.
Never mind.
So, so we're talking about Melissa's having fun. She's got a little bit of a cold, so she's drinking coffee and having cough drops.
Oh yeah,
Great
it's a great
combination.
time.
Well, how about this? Dave and I talked about this earlier. A new study shows a single dose of LSD could provide a lasting anxiety relief. They're thinking of making it legal. The FDA has granted breakthrough therapy status to an LSD formula from Mind Medicine Incorporated, not sure where they are, to treat
Medicine Incorporated.
to treat generalized anxiety disorder. They did a study. They found the drug was generally well tolerated. Of course, they don't tell you how much they're giving people.
Yeah.
Well tolerated, with most adverse events rated as mild to moderate, transient, and occurring on dosing days. And it found the most
that
common.
would happen. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It found the most common adverse effects were when patients first took the drug were hallucinations,
Yeah.
euphoric mood, hooray, and nausea, because we're gonna have something bad there.
Yeah.
So Mind Medicine Incorporated, they plan to meet with the FDA in the next few months to start an expanded clinical program in the second half of this year.
Okay, so they want to do more clinical studies and
We want to give LSD to people that are, and watch the amount of people suffering from anxiety go up real quick, so they can try out the LSD stuff.
well, it's interesting.
All right, the
Well,
I wouldn't
don't
sign up for
know.
that. I wouldn't sign up for that.
That stuff's been around since the end of World War II, lysergic acid diethyl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That stuff there is mighty doggone potent, and the effects are lasting. Now they are getting the fond look from the government because the effects are lasting. But the side effects are also lasting.
Yeah.
And so why do we not care about the side effects anymore? Melissa, I know you're too young and beautiful to be watching the TV channels that Joe and I watch, but it seems that the channels that
she's
we
seen them.
watch are just filled with pharmaceutical
Oh, I know.
messages.
Joe and I have talked
Yes.
about this. How in other countries, they don't have commercials for pharmaceuticals.
Right.
Ask
It's
your
illegal.
doctor about, right?
This,
Oh,
this,
I see.
this,
Oh, yes.
this.
Oh, maybe I have that. And then you Google it, and then, or you go online.
Right.
Like,
And
oh,
now
I
you
do
do.
have that. And then you go into the doctor and you say, oh,
I need this.
I saw this. Maybe I need this. Those commercials shouldn't be allowed, and
Well,
nobody else does it. And
that's certainly a valid argument that can be discussed, but I think that toothpaste is squarely out of the tube by
it
now.
is. It's terrible.
So,
Terrible.
But they are obliged by our government to mention any kind of side effects or negative things that happen
could cause this, that, this,
in the
that.
studies that led to their
Yeah.
being approved. And
Death and weirdness.
And death, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. And you want a physician to prescribe this for you, who's taken an oath saying, "First, do no harm."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I heard there was one, and I don't remember the names of these things. The one for migraine headaches. Migraine headaches, some people, they're debilitating.
They
They're
are.
terrible.
They are. I used
They
to have
really
them, yeah.
ruin quality of life for an
too.
awful lot of people, and they're a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
I remember having migraine headaches when I was younger. I like to joke that I gave them up for Lent one year and never went back. But I'm not suffering from migraine headaches now because I had a different type of treatment, a different type of methodology of doing it. Didn't involve any kind of drugs that you purchase. And so I haven't had a migraine headache since I was in my 20s, and I'm not anywhere near my 20s anymore. So I understand that, and I realize that some people don't have the same personality, and they don't have the same opportunities that I do, and they don't have the ability to do what I did. But when I hear the side effects are, terrible, well, I don't think death was one of them. I think certainly nausea.
Some of them they are.
Yeah, terrible nausea and things like that.
Abdominal pain.
Well, I'm sorry. With a migraine headache, you get nausea.
Yeah.
You do.
That's right.
Yeah, I used to suffer from them as well.
Yeah.
So now it'll be worse.
Well, that's because you get nausea because basically you start tensing up because you've had this before. And when you get your second, third, fourth, and umpteenth migraine headache attack, you know what's coming up. And so your body tenses and everything in you tenses. And that's where, under certain food conditions, your stomach can regurgitate, at the very least, be nauseous. Well, I'm just trying to say that why would you choose to have those side effects? I don't know.
It depends on the ailment. I know that, like you said, doctor has oath, do no harm. Modern medicine is amazing and wonderful, and
complicated.
Said this, and very complicated. You
Sometimes
have to weigh
your doctor
that.
can't prescribe this because you're on another medication,
Right.
That's right.
which is contraindicated.
Yeah, and you have to weigh, like, okay, your quality of life right now, and if it improves if you take this, but then you risk these really horrible side effects.
Right.
It's always it's a personal choice between you and your doctor.
Right.
I have said,
But
this
you know what
once
really
before.
set the precedent for that? Chemotherapy.
Yeah,
Chemotherapy kills you, always.
it does.
It,
but
you may not die from it, but it's killing parts of you, trying to kill the cancer.
Right.
And it makes you sick as a dog.
It does.
I know some friends who chose not to have chemotherapy simply because they said, well, I'm going to be sick as a dog without it. Why should I be sick as a dog with it?
Or folks who start chemo and then decide, well, I've seen both sides of this coin, and I don't want to do this anymore. And they decide that they just don't want to do it.
Oh, I had
right?
one friend that did that. They just
Yeah.
said, nope, that's it.
Yeah, right.
No more
because
treatment.
it was just so rough, and then they just decided.
Time to head for the exits.
Yep.
All right. On another
It's a personal choice.
It is a personal choice, yeah.
Melissa, here's another good animal story for you.
Okay.
New York City Health Department is offering what it calls Rats Academy classes for
Oh,
gardeners.
dirty rat.
Classes for gardeners in the city. Now, rats are resilient, something New York City residents know all too well.
Yes, they
pose a
are.
real challenge for gardeners because the rats consider carrots, peas, and avocados as their 5-star food. That's their go-to food, just like trash. So the city's offering 2-hour
Yeah,
classes
because it
starting
doesn't
next
stink
week.
like trash
Who's
does.
growing avocados in New York
I don't
City?
know. But the 2-hour class starts next week. It's either online or in person on rat management for gardeners. English, Spanish, and Cantonese.
Okay.
I don't know if people
I
watch.
still want to know who's growing avocados
I
in New
don't
York,
know.
but carrots and peas, maybe. Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, there's a big Latino population in New York.
Avocados
be.
don't grow in this climate. That's what I'm
what it
saying.
says,
Like,
so.
Well, that's the whole thing. Yeah. If you grow them indoors, the rats come indoors, and they're
I know,
feeding on this
like
food.
it takes like 7 or 8 or 9 years to grow an avocado tree, and it takes like longer than that for them to get the first fruit. And if you go through that and you've grown the avocado tree, and then a rat comes and steals your avocado, I guess you would be
You're going to
pretty
be
mad.
plenty
mad.
ticked.
I don't know if you
All that
guys
for nothing.
if you guys were fans of the sitcom Modern Family.
Yeah, I watched it
You
often.
remember Modern Family?
No,
Yeah.
I didn't watch it, but I
All right.
heard about it.
They had an episode where Gloria, who was Latino, they were having a rat problem in the house,
Yeah.
and she ended up killing the rat with a shovel and like decapitating it.
Oh,
and they said, "Aren't you going to get rid of it?" No, I'm leaving it right there.
So that the
so
other-
there's a message to the other rats.
Right.
There is a little truth in that
Is it?
because
Does that work?
Rats are so resilient. First of all, they can start procreating when they're like 12 weeks old,
Okay.
and they can have up to 12 babies every 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So
28
like
days,
right.
yeah.
But also, they've done studies, and this is why they use rats for studies.
Mm-hmm.
They're prone to cancer, number one, but number two, they will actually learn from the other rats. So, like, if they see a rat go into a trap, and then
They'll stay away
like
from it?
they'll learn to stay away from it.
Oh, smart.
Yeah,
little,
so
smart
they're
guys.
smart little buggers. You know, I had a pet rat when I was
Oh, yeah.
younger, and my first pet, and
I know it's not.
She
gonna-
was a
loved
precocious
him.
child.
I loved him. No, I wasn't a child. I was in my 20s.
Oh, I
My first
We got-
animal as an adult.
We got to run, but one more thing to bring up. Just keep an eye on this. The U.S. government's urging American citizens to get out of Haiti. Something bad is going on down there.
I
they're
never
thinking-
wanted to go there.
I know, but they're thinking that the government's going to fall.
Oh, my goodness.
The gangs are running rampant
Oh,
yeah.
in
Yeah.
Haiti, in
Of course
Port-au-Prince.
they are.
Yes, so it's pretty ugly. In fact, so bad the president of Haiti's in Puerto Rico, trying to
That's
build up,
right.
trying to build up
Yeah,
military
yeah.
to come back.
He left
and like
town.
that. So it's
Trying to run it by remote control.
Yeah,
it's
if
pretty
you can get
pretty
out,
bad there.
if you
said
can
it
get
bef-
out,
I said
Get
it
out.
before we went in on a cruise ship one time years ago. I had my little portable radio. I listened to what was on the radio. I says, "We're not going ashore."
Yeah,
I stayed on the
Yeah.
ship.
Haiti's
Yeah.
bad.
One time with Dr. Ballard, the ship was anchored off Haiti. I had to go in there and sleep overnight to get onto the ship. Oh my gosh, they put us in the nicest place in Haiti, one of those all-inclusive resorts.
Okay.
Which you had to go through something that looked like
With the guards
the
around
movie
it.
with the Bronx and the and the
Yeah.
guards and the towers and the machine guns and the graffiti on the concrete and everything was a steel barred thing, and that's what we had to do to get to it on a protected bus that had a police escort.
Wow.
And this is years ago.
Yeah,
I
well.
have no problem relating to what's going on there now.
All right, so we got to run. So have a great weekend, everyone. Remember daylight savings. Push
Yes.
those clocks ahead an hour on Saturday. Dave, thanks for coming in today.
It's been a pleasure to be with my
All right.
good friends here on this Friday morning. Make it a good day.
And Melissa Murray, thanks for coming in.
thank you for having me. Have a great weekend, everybody, and happy International Women's Day.
Oh, that's right. That's today.
Yep, that's why I'm wearing purple.
All right. I'm Joe Callahan. Have yourself a great weekend. Stay tuned for Gary Smith and the crew. Do your remembers at 9:30 here on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news. A $5 million federal appropriation could move the city of Newport a step closer to repairs of the Cliff Walk. Congressman Gabe Amo announced this week that the House of Representatives has approved more than $20 million